What's up, everybody? Tonight I wanted to do a video comparing the Latitude 64 core bag with the Dynamic Discs Trooper. These are both really great, very affordable backpack style disc golf bags. They're both really comfortable, lightweight, carry a bunch of stuff, and honestly, if you feel like you like the way one or the other looks better, or you prefer that for some reason, that's probably enough of a difference to go with whichever one you like. They're both really great. There's only about a $10 difference. I believe $49.99 for the core bag and $39.99 for the Dynamic Discs Trooper. First of all, before we go any further, for that much money for either one of these bags, I think it's a great deal. Hands down. I think they're really good quality for the money. They carry great and they hold a lot of stuff. And I enjoy both of these bags. I'm using the core bag currently right now. We'll go into some of the reasons why I like it just that little bit better, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to do just like a quick side-by-side. First of all, so you can see what they look like next to each other, and then also just kind of talk about some of the key differences between the two bags. So I stuffed a bunch of plastic in both of them just to give you an idea of how many they can carry. You could probably fit more in the core bag than I have right now, but let's do a quick count. 5 putters up top. That's awesome. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 pretty comfortably in the core bag, right? And then right now, for reference, in this Trooper, we have 4 discs up top. We got 4 putters and a mid-range up there, or 3 putters and a mid-range, 4 discs total. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Look at that. So they're basically carrying the exact same amount of plastic. I didn't even do that. I just kind of stuffed some discs out of my throwing stock in these to represent what they look like full and give you an idea. So the capacity, not terribly different. The Latitude 64 core bag has this big open pocket. Technically, this is your putter pocket right here, but you can stuff a bunch of extra discs in there, which is exactly what I like to do with this bag. I carried this out of Horning's Hideout the other day, throwing a ton of putters. They're all right here. My putting putter, my tee shot putters. I kept a Goby up there for a lot of the round as well. And I really like that. Especially like, say I throw my drive, I got a Goby or a Thrasher or something sitting there from my drive. I'll walk up to it, putt, before I walk to the next hole. You can just pop it in the top if you don't feel like dealing with it. You might throw it again on the next tee, throw it in this big open pocket and move on. So that's cool. One other key difference between these two bags that I've noticed is the angle and the size of the opening on the core bag makes for a little bit easier access to your discs. They don't ride quite as deep. As you can see here, the depth of the Trooper is definitely a little bit deeper. I think the discs are less likely to fall out of the Trooper, for sure. Not that I really saw that as an issue carrying the Latitude, but it's definitely a little bit more likely because it's just easier to get them in and out overall. So overall, I think that's a benefit, but you could say it's kind of a con because they could potentially pop out of there when you don't want them to. The Trooper, you got to give a little bit more effort to take them in and out, but it's pretty doable. But you can see, like I can leave that squish there like that because of the opening. There's some resistance on the way in and out. There's also some resistance in terms of getting the disc in and out of the top pocket. I've modified this Trooper bag a little bit since it's mine, and I actually cut the zippers out of this top pocket as neatly as I could, just because they included my access to these putters. And I really like having my putters up top. I think this is a great aspect of it. But you do run into a little bit of resistance again. If I were to make any suggestions for this bag, that would be my only thing, is just have this top pocket just be a hair bigger, and it would be really fine, really great. But it's totally fine as is, so don't worry about that. These zipper pulls are aftermarket. These are the ones that do come on the core bag. They're nice enough that I'm not even really concerned about switching them out. Okay, other key differences between the two bags. The core bag has a pencil pocket here and a mini pocket. I like that. It's a nice touch. Then it has this big side pocket here. That's pretty substantial. Around to the back. Some rubberized material on the straps, which is good. Definitely a little bit more padded, more mesh back on the Latitude bag. The Trooper, the straps are probably a little bit thinner overall, but it's not terribly noticeable. Both really comfortable bags to carry. Can't stress that enough. They're both really great to carry. They're super light and they feel good on your back, so it's all good there. But the Trooper has this material here. The core bag has all mesh padded back. The Trooper has one big water bottle holder dedicated. You can put like a growler size bottle in this, which is pretty great. Latitude 64 core bag has two identical pockets on both sides. This one I use for water, as you kind of can do whatever you want. You can have water on both sides of it if you want to, or you can, if you're like riding this on a disc golf cart, like a Zuka, have your water on the cart somewhere. You can just put a bunch of storage in these pockets. One thing I will say, I put a couple of safety pins here just to prevent the zipper from zipping down, because during one of the rounds I was using this big bottle and it kind of hangs out of the top, and when it's full, it jostling around kind of worked these zippers down a little bit, and it did fall out of the bag once, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And either way, two little safety pins there, the zipper can't pull down, it completely eliminates the issue. So anything that can be fixed really easily, I don't really worry about personally in terms of design on stuff, because I like to modify my gear and make it work the way I want it to anyway. Big pocket here on the Trooper, and then I really like this pocket. And to be fair, you can just put your Mini in here. It's not that big of a deal to have the dedicated Mini pocket, but it is kind of nice to have it here where you don't have to unzip anything and you don't have to keep it in your pants pocket like while you're out there playing, so that's nice. Let's do one other thing I want to do in this video is to show you guys the bottoms of these bags. Got a lot of grief on my Latitude 64 core bag review. I did not show the bottom of it, so I'm going to give you a good look at it in just 1 second. So, not much to see. Let's tilt this down. There's no reinforcement or anything other than on the interior of the bag, there's a reinforced material wrapped in, sewn into the material that slides down and creates the bottom structure of the bag. And then, yeah, there's no real reinforcement, there's no plastic feet, there's none of that. I also could not care less. We'll get into that in just a second about the bottom of the bag. That's kind of why I didn't really worry about it too much. But there's your look at it. There's no like plastic feet or anything like that, or rails or anything. And at this price point, $39.99, I think that would be kind of a lot to ask anyway. And really unneeded in a couple different ways we'll go into in a second. Let's take a look at the core bag. So of course, both of these bags, by the way, you can pull out the interior flap and zip it closed. I'm not going to worry about that. So, as you can see, same deal for the Latitude 64 core bag. There's not really anything on the bottom other than this same rubberized kind of material that's on this part, on the pockets, and on the top flap and part of the straps as well on this bag. You can see, it's interesting, on this side there's no hole for the pocket, and on this side there's like a little tiny hole right here. I don't know if you can notice that. So maybe I should have my water on that side. That might be kind of what they're thinking. But other than that, the pockets are identical from what I can tell. I don't think there's any other difference. So yeah, same deal here. There's a piece of, like, I don't even know, corrugated plastic most likely, kind of sewn into the fabric that you slide down, forms the structure of the bottom of the bag. The discs rest on top of that, and it's a pretty flat surface on the bottom there. So the reason why, let's get everybody back in frame here. The reason why I don't necessarily care what's on the bottom of my golf bag, pretty much at all, is because I either ride one of these bags on my Easy Cart by Zuka, so not really worrying about it then, although I kind of tend to prefer the way I have that rigged. I show you guys in my other dedicated Zuka video with the soldier bag. But both of these bags work out great on top of the Easy Cart. I'm sure they would both fit in any of the other, like the backpack cart with the seat from Zuka. Probably work out great. You can see what this bag looks like riding on the Rovic three-wheeled foldable cart if you want to see that. Or I will use a folding stool. I'm going to go get it and show it to you guys. So going all the way back to my old Innova Deluxe bag with the backpack straps, onto my Gateway, then onto the Trooper, and now with the Latitude 64 core bag. One thing I always like to use when I'm carrying a bag is one of these folding camping stools. This is my old one. I've had this thing forever. Look how beat this thing is. I got it and it was already, this pin here is original. great shape. This one, not so much. This one's just a bolt with a lock washer on there, and it's just, somebody rigged this up a long time ago. They got this sticker at the Beaver State Fling, I don't even know, several years ago. I got this thing at the Goodwill. It still works. I've sewed this back on, but she's pretty beat up. But anyway, look at that. You can get the same thing, essentially, made by Coleman right now, readily available on the internet. I believe this is the one that Jeremy Coling uses, quite sure. This one's a little heavier, for sure, but it's heavier duty because of that, I would say. Folds out like that. Beautiful thing about either of these is then you throw that, boom, put your bag on that. It helps you balance the bag, right? One benefit. Helps you balance the bag really nicely. On uneven terrain, it's like a little cradle, so the bag's not tipping over at all. No problems there. I used this on a very hilly, wooded round the other day. Not one time did my bag fall off of the stand or tip over during use. No issues whatsoever. The other thing is, I've never really thought it made all that much sense to take my golf bag and throw it straight down on the ground with the rocks and the dirt and the stakes and the mud and whatever else. Your mileage may vary. Highly recommend these little camping stools. That's part of the reason why I didn't end up showing you guys the bottom of the bag on the core bag review, is that it's not something I think about because I'm really not that concerned about the balance of the bag or the bottom, because I use one of these and it doesn't really need to be that durable because it's not sitting directly on the ground anyway. So, to sum up, Latitude 64 core bag, the Dynamic Disc Trooper, they're both great bags for the money. Whichever one you think looks better, or if you are really tight on your budget and that $10 means a lot to you. I mean, when you're talking about something that's $50 or $40, $10 is a significant percentage of that. Like if you're really low on cash, the Trooper's totally fine. I tend to prefer the Latitude 64 core bag just because I really love this top pocket. To have 5, 6 putters up there, 6 different discs at easy access is great. I like the fact that the discs come in and out that little bit easier, and I like the mini pocket. It's a good looking bag and it works out great. Either one of these bags, you really can't go wrong for the money. But overall, I think I'm going to be rocking the core bag for a little while, but not in a hurry to get rid of my Trooper either. That's it for this video. Let me know if you have any other questions that I have not touched on between the two of these bags or anything else. As always, I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers.